Young Reporters Disclaimer. Before we get started, a quick note. The views and opinions you'll hear on the Young Reporters are just those of the producers, our guests, and our friends, and don't represent the policies or official views of the Orin Edson Entrepreneurship plus Innovation Institute. And remember, the Young Reporters podcast is for entertainment purposes only.
Matchmaker Communications 101, in collaboration with Arizona State University's Edson Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute, presents The Young Reporters. The Young Reporters chase down ordinary people doing amazing things in the greater Phoenix community and beyond. These inner-city young journalists take their classroom on the air, a class about ethics, commitment, loyalty, and teamwork. When you're on The Young Reporters, be prepared to talk about things you never expected. And now, let's go into the classroom.
We are back in the classroom once again. What an honor to move this classroom to ASU Sky Song. I can't tell you the joy and the thrill of being able to officially say that the Young Reporters, in collaboration with Arizona State University's Edson Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute, what an honor to be at this place at this time with this fabulous studio of great guests, great hosts, co-hosts. I'm Bob Fishman, by the way. We are a continuation of we did 9 years straight, every week, 52 weeks a year with our old radio station, and then COVID hit. And so we were basically shut down like a lot of other things in the country for 5 years pretty much, because as people were learning how to get back together again, and boy, there's a lot lost during that time of just how it's changed the way people. It disrupted people's lives, obviously, in lots of different ways. Ours was the least of those, basically, but it was so much fun working with the kids, and it was pretty hard to have to give that up for 5 years. But this opportunity that we have right now is phenomenal. I'm sitting next to me is one of our co-hosts today. We've got Kim Reynolds with us in the studio. Next to Kim is Chris Volchek, who's one of our combined guests and hosts, and Alan Ripa across from Chris. Paula Hartley is another one of our kind of combo guests and hosts today. And Kelly Randall, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Kelly Randall in lots and lots and lots of different ways. The crowd noise. Alan Rife does it all. He makes crowd noises when we need it.
I thought that was just heavy breathing.
I didn't understand what that was.
I've been around Alan enough to know some of his tricks.
I heard applause.
Yeah, whatever it is.
I heard a roar.
So I will do a little bit more on introductions here, but we're going to have a free-flowing studio today. We did our first new adult version of the Young Reporters. We did our first one in 5 years. We did it about 3 weeks ago, and this is the adult version, the older version of the Young Reporters. We will have kids back running these shows soon, but we like to do both. We like to have the kids do the show, and then we like to have the adults do the show. And all of this is about it's about teaching the kids skills, but it's also teaching the kids that even as a kid they can be a community leader. They are matchmakers. They are community connectors. This show is all about connecting the community. ASU Edson, I'm just learning about Edson, but it seems to be mostly about teaching the kids and connecting the community. Engagement. Is that right, Kim? Is that a pretty good description? How would you describe ASU Edson, the program you're running?
So our institute is all about building ecosystems.
Okay.
Entrepreneurial ecosystems, community ecosystems, and creating places and spaces for our small businesses and entrepreneurs, but also our community organizations, because they're entrepreneurs as well. It's just social entrepreneurship.
And when you say places and spaces, you're talking about actual places and spaces?
Yes, the actual physical spaces as well as online spaces and opportunities and events. So like right now we're in SkySong in 1951. This is one of our place-based innovation spaces.
That's the room number, 1951, right?
It is. Well, the room number is actually 151, but we call it 1951 because if you look around, it's themed in a 1951 theming. But this is it. We've got a conference room here. We've got community co-working spaces, and then we also have an event space that small businesses and nonprofits, and community organizations can sign up to access, and it is available for free to the community. Our one requirement is if you hold events, they have to be free events. You can't be charging people. But this is one of multiple locations. We have space in Mesa, we have space in Chandler, and we have 2 spaces in downtown Phoenix that, like I said, small businesses and community organizations can access for meetings, for just co-working space, or for holding events.
Before I get off you for the moment and go on to introductions for other people in the studio, I want to comment on the last show we did. You were a guest on that show, a fabulous guest, and I've made some notes on a couple of things that I wanted to talk about briefly. We had Chandra Subramanian, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Chandra is one of the chief leaders for Medtronic until he retired recently. Medtronic is Chris. You probably know Medtronic by name, the major manufacturer of medical instruments. I don't know if they do any dental instruments, but definitely
they do.
They do, is that right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but I mean a powerhouse company. He was in the studio with us 3 weeks ago, and Kim and Chandra just had there was so much fire going on between the two of them. I loved Chandra broke things down simple. That's one thing I loved. He talked about the key thing to business growth, business startups, whatever. The key thing was cash flow. Mm-hmm. It was so simple to understand. Chris, you're nodding your head at that. Cash flow caught your attention?
Absolutely. We're going through some cash flow issues, which is not abnormal for a nonprofit, but funding will come in different segments. We're functioning well, but if your foundations don't fund you on a regular basis, your cash flow is your big problem. So that's our biggest issue as a nonprofit, is cash flow.
And so yes, go ahead, Al.
That's what the conversation was on our last podcast with Chandra.
Yeah.
Saying that cash flow was the interrupter.
It was so simple. And he's saying the reason for failure was as people are growing, maybe they hire too much too fast, and all of a sudden cash flow becomes an issue. One of the other things that I bring back to... Go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead, and I'll come back to that.
Back to Kim, one of the things that came up there, Chandra was one of the best compliments that happened in that show. We were talking about what Medtronic does and what Kim and Edson does, and I was sort of praising Chandra for being able to run this company and he kept talking about the innovators that came to Medtronic or to the other company where he worked with Motorola, and he worked with one of the high tech companies on semiconductor. He was saying in each case he already had innovators that were in the system. He was complimenting Kim on the fact that they were creating innovators. Mm-hmm. And so it was a massive compliment to you and what the Edson program does. Describe a little bit more. I just want to focus on it for a second. You go around the country doing what you do, right?
Part of our team does. So in the Edson, the J. Orin Edson Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute, we serve multiple populations. We are in service to the entire university, but then we also have programs that are for our ASU students, for ASU faculty and staff. We have community outreach programs, and then we have an entire segment of our team that is dedicated to youth entrepreneurship and reaching out. So we have a partnership with a national sponsor that allows us to travel around the country teaching design thinking, entrepreneurship, sustainability, and innovation to middle school and starting to dabble back into high school students. So we've been doing that. But then we also have one of our biggest initiatives is we're moving into our second year of Invention Convention Arizona.
I love that Invention Convention. I attended that in March or April, whenever that was.
It was April 12th.
It was amazing. Everybody that comes through our studio is going to, one of the requirements we're going to have is you got to go to Invention Convention because these kids are phenomenal. What you guys do with that is just amazing.
It is. It's pretty amazing, and it is part of the larger Invention Convention worldwide, which is sponsored by the Henry Ford out of Dearborn, Michigan.
And basically, this is like kids. This particular thing was K through 12, right? Or was it?
We are open to kindergarten through 12th grade students. There's any student in Arizona can join. They don't have to be part of a school.
And what they do is they come up with an idea and they create their business concept, and then they're presented at the Invention Convention. And if they win the local one, they go on to the national one. Is that what happens?
We teach them about the invention process, from identifying challenges that they see in their lives or in the world around them, and then we take them through the process, either in a classroom with curriculum or through using a log book that guides them through the process. And then they finalize it by first they'll compete in what we call state qualifying events. Usually they're regionally located. We're going to have one in Mojave Valley this year. We always have one down in Tucson. And then from there they move on to state. And then from state, it's not just if you win state, it's not a guarantee you're going to nationals. We base it on their readiness to compete at nationals. But last year we had 17 students qualify for nationals, 14 that showed up, and Kelly can tell you it was amazing.
It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I was privileged enough to go to the Invention Convention, the national one in Dearborn, Michigan, held at the Henry Ford Museum. And I'm telling you, these kids were outstanding. And as an observer, the most fascinating thing to me is there's hundreds of kids there from all over the United States competing, but they all had the exact same process of presenting their invention, which made it, for the observer, made it much more easier to comprehend. I mean, met some amazing people the students Kim works with. It's outstanding.
And I don't want to get too revealing here, but Kim's granddaughter was one of the people who presented at the local Invention Convention, and she just came up with this beautiful little concept. That was the one with the blanket that becomes a tent and becomes...
She called it the placket bag.
the placket
and
bag.
What kid hasn't made a tent with a blanket? I mean, that's
Well, it was
amazing.
a blanket, a pillow, a jacket, and a sleeping bag all combined into one.
Oh, wow. And how old is she?
She was in third grade last year, 9 years old. So
Wow.
She's already designing for next year. She has her logbook. She calls me Monkey instead of Grandma. She's like, Monkey, I need a new logbook.
We've got to go to a little break here right now. We are the older version of the Young Reporters, and already off to a fast start. We only have 6 people in the studio today, so we're going to cover a lot of ground in depth. Stay with us, the Young Reporters. Listening to the Young Reporters podcast. We are at ASU Sky Song. I have to keep checking my head. Am I living in a dream right now? Is this real? I can't. Anyway, we are so honored. I can't keep coming back to that. We've had about 17-year history with the classroom, of which we lost 5 to the COVID mess. But we had 9 years, we had about 450 shows probably divided between the kids and the adults. Ton of shows we've done. And now we're only in our second go-round. We try to tape 2 shows when we get together and produce a lot of content of value to the greater Phoenix community and way beyond. And so we have our guests in the studio with Kim Reynolds, Chris Volchek, Alan Ripa, Powell Hartley, and Kelly Randall. And I was just going to finish up with Kim here because there's one other thing that came out of that show last week that caught my attention. And I thought it was wonderful. It was the honesty. When again, when you and Chandra were talking about how something becomes successful, how to get that cash flow, how to get everything right to be a success. And you just came in at one point and said you've had 3 successful failures. I love that line. I think that those were business related. Can you describe those 3 and what they did for Dale? You got a quick comment, right?
They were massively unsuccessful.
She didn't say that. She didn't say that. She just said successful failures.
Editing that video, I've heard her say it many times.
Okay, so to describe a little, what you want to reveal, Kim, in terms of your process and what that did for you going forward. Because you were in education for years and years, but you've always been an entrepreneur, right?
So my father is a serial entrepreneur. My mom and dad actually both are serial entrepreneurs, and I grew up with that. And my dad always pushed me and my sisters to be entrepreneurs. So I tried starting a business at one point I was very involved in Scouts at one point, and I make these really beautiful, there's an award for Cub Scouts called the Arrow of Light, and I would make these really elaborate awards for our Scouts. And then other people are like, oh, those are so beautiful, you should make them. I'm like, so I tried to start a business for it. I found out when it comes to scouting, everybody wants you to make the awards, but nobody wants to pay what it actually costs for materials, much less your time. So I had started that business and bought all the materials and started putting it out there, and nobody was interested. But one of the great things about that is part of the entrepreneurial mindset that we try to teach in our ecosystems is failing forward. And that is that one of my very favorite lines comes from a movie, Meet the Robinsons by Disney. And there's a scene in the movie where the main character has a spectacular failure, and the whole family that he's visiting sets off fireworks and everything. And they're like, you did it, you failed, woohoo. And in the meantime, he's going, I'm so stupid. But they're celebrating, and he's like, wait, what do you mean? And one of the characters says, from failure, you learn. From success, not so much.
So what did you learn from your failure, or your multi-failures? And by
money up front.
Did you say failing forward? Is that what you said?
Failing forward.
Failing forward, okay.
Failing
That's a
forward.
Great line. I like that line.
Yeah, it's a very powerful concept, and it's something that that is missing in the world today, especially when the faces that people put out on social media is only their best face. And, competitions, everybody has to get a trophy. Nobody is teaching our youth today how to fail and how to learn from that failure and how to pick themselves up. And it's that picking up and moving forward that is so impactful and powerful. And what you learn in your failures is, okay, well, this didn't work. What didn't I do? What skills do I still need to learn? Who do I still need to connect with? What resources do I need? There's so many things that you can learn in that failure. So next time you get a little bit better. And next time you get, I think it's Edison that is the famous quote that they said something like, oh, you failed 4,000 times. So he's like, no, he goes, I learned 4,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Well, one of the things, again, the last thing to reinforce on the Chandra part of it, he said to you that you have a much harder job than he had at Medtronic. What you do with kids is way harder to do than what he did at Medtronic, because he's already working with people who are innovators. There might be, and he also, all it takes is one bad person to screw things up, and that relates to Kelly, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. I'll take that as my first compliment.
What I mean is that Kelly's a fabulous principal, and Kelly left Kim's school.
Failure.
Kelly
I do my best.
Kelly left Kim's school, and it destroyed Kim's experience as a teacher when Kelly left her school, because Kelly was that good of a principal. And so it came up in that conversation that all it takes is one bad person to mess up a system.
She told the principal that replaced Kelly totally messed up our system, our ecosystem that we had in the school, and the trust we had with our students. So it does only take one person.
That happens in education a lot. That's why I'm not in education anymore.
I had forgotten. I had one experience like that in one school, and I totally forgot. But yeah, it's like a great thing going. All of a sudden, all it took was a bad mood on one day. It's just amazing. Yeah. I want to go to Paula right now for a second, because Paula's been in my life for a lot of years. Paula, she's a joy to watch. She's a joy to be in the presence of. Paula was the lead ballerina for Ballet Arizona for many years. the prima ballerina, I guess is that the way you say it, prima ballerina?
Principal dancer.
Principal dancer. That's more professional, I guess. But Holly did that for many, many years at Bailey, Arizona. And now she's moved on. She's got, I think, a dance studio is your primary business. Is that right? It's not okay. What's your primary thing now?
I am the owner, founder, executive director of what's called the Hartley Dance Project.
Oh, okay.
The Hartley Dance Project is an organization that I'm very proud of because we celebrate dance education.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so the mission of my organization, my company, is to celebrate dance education by producing high-quality performances that include international stars.
Which you did last March.
That was my first project.
It was amazing. And
Thank
so,
you.
relating to the conversation already, you're in the midst of that sort of the getting it over the hump. I mean, the first show was phenomenal.
Thank you.
You
I
were
appreciate
nice
that.
enough to invite me to that.
Thank you.
And it was a great, very international, right?
Well, yeah. I bring in international stars from the world of dance and ballet and contemporary, and I partnered with a very prestigious dance studio here in Arizona called Studio R Ballet. They're in Mesa, and with Swansea Productions. They're a company overseas in Europe. Paul Sequist is the director of the company, who is coincidentally one of my childhood friends, which is why I was able to work with him. And he's the one that did all the contracts with the stars because he's worked with all the stars overboard.
You got all these people to come to Phoenix because your performance was at the Orpheum. That's a big deal.
We did the performance at the Orpheum, and we held an audition. Yes, it was incredible. Last year we held an audition in September. It was a statewide audition where we called all the contemporary and ballet students between the ages of 15 and 19 to come, and we chose the best students because the idea is, and the name of the project is called Arizona Grand Gala of Stars. So that was the first production. I want it to be an annual show, so it's every year. The idea is to bring the community together, is to celebrate the students that are performing and recognize where they're coming from. Because I've been a teacher here for over 20 years in the Valley, and I've jumped through different dance studios over the time, and I recognize the talent that comes from Arizona, and I recognize that there are many good teachers and good dance studios, and so I wanted it to be all in one performance, and I wanted all the best students to rehearse two pieces where people could watch them and go, oh, this one is from Ballet Arizona School of Ballet, this one is from Master Ballet Academy, et cetera, et cetera. We were able to have 25 students total involved from 12 different dance programs around the Valley, and it was really incredible. Honestly, I'm so happy, and for them, the experience of getting to open and being backstage, taking class, warm up with these huge stars that. The best way that I can put it is for someone who's listening right now, if you are more sports driven, say that you have a football game and you get the top quarterback, the top defense, the top, from all of the NFL teams, and you choose the top football students from Arizona, and then you have a game between them. And then the parents and people can come and see. That's the best way I can describe it. What's the equivalent for these dance kids is to be on stage with these stars. And I'm very happy that it worked out the way it did. And of course, I'm going to keep going. And there's a lot more. But we get
time. We're going to get into all of it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I love your story because what this shows is everybody thinks entrepreneurship is for tech and business, but you're a creative.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
You're a performer. Entrepreneurship is for everyone.
It is for everyone. And I was listening to you talk about failures and cash flow, and I've had to learn all that because I didn't start out as a businesswoman. To me, it was more my passion and my drive to do something for the students here and for the arts community and for the culture and for Arizona in general. And I started learning along the way all these steps that you have to take, all what's involved in expenses and how do you reach other people, how do you get donations, et cetera, how do you get the marketing. So it was a huge learning experience for me, but it has not. I want to continue this. I think it's only the beginning for us.
What's really cool, Paula, is that this ASU Edson, the programs they have that Kim's intimately involved with, they cover a lot of ground in terms of all those skill sets you're talking about. I'm still getting familiar with it, but it's stunning what they do. This is a this is going to be a world-changing thing, what they're doing out of this campus.
Well, I wish I was a child again so I could come.
Oh, we have
is
resources
this
for adults, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
then sign me up.
And we're going to get to, on our next segment, we're going to focus on Chris Volchek, because he's got some really interesting stuff. Most of it not failure, but I'm sure he's got some good failure stories too. But we are the Young Reporters, the older version of. We'll be right back to continue this conversation. Stay with us.
Welcome back. We are the Young Reporters coming to you from ASU Sky Song. We've got a fabulous show lined up today and some great guests in the studio here. To my right, we got Bob Fishman, Kim Reynolds, who you heard from earlier. We're going to speak to Chris Volchek next, Alan Ripa, who's doing a great job over there with all the tech, and Paula, who we just heard from in the last segment with her fascinating information about ballet. That was
terrific.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Where have you been the last 20 years?
By the way,
I was dancing, and then I retired.
One thing I want to say about, when I first started going to ballet, because it's a long story again related to the connection, the matchmaking. But anyway, so I started going to ballet, and I'm a baseball guy, and so it's like, dance is not something I'm really very familiar with. But I started to realize, when I started to view them as athletes, that's when I realized, oh my God, these people are athletes. And I had so much fun. I get to go to their studio when they're doing their rehearsals. It was just amazing to watch them and the work involved, and oh my God. And I can see why men go into that career. You have some very attractive women in that business.
Thank you. I'll take that as a nice compliment there.
I want to go to Chris for a second. Speaking of a beautiful man.
Chris, were you ever in the ballet?
No.
Chris's thing was you used to work the beach.
But I wouldn't mind being in ballet for the same reason.
Chris has spent a lot of time being a lifeguard. Chris is used to being on stage, sort of, So I want to go to Chris for a second in terms of, Chris, the conversation we were just having both with Kim and with Paula. You have had a long history of a lot of different things. My favorite story about Chris, to get him started, is he originally, and he still is, I guess, a doctor of dentistry. He still use the title, or what, doctor, or no?
I don't really relate to that.
Yeah, but he started as a kid. Talk about, when you're a kid. Chris loved the idea of dentistry because when he would go to the dentist as a young kid, he loved his dentist, apparently, and he loved him because he was so cool, and he was cool because as he's doing his dentistry, he'd be smoking cigarettes and drinking shots.
Oh, he had his scotch there. Back then, well, I'm older, and he was quite old, so he had those stinky yellow fingers from the cigarettes.
Oh, my goodness.
No gloves, of course, back then. No gloves.
Oh, wow.
And then he had his scotch, and then he had a full bar. And his white shock of hair, and he was cool.
So that was it? It was just cool?
He was just really cool, and I knew I wanted to be a doctor, but my dentist was the cool one, my physician and my veterinarian, So I didn't like dentistry at all. I went the wrong path completely, but he swayed me into
Is that a successful failure?
That's a successful failure. But I want to go back to when we're talking, one person can make things fail. Isn't it difficult when you find out you're the one person? And it slowly creeps up on you. Just slowly creeps up on you. You're the damn common denominator.
You're the Larry David. You're the Larry David.
Yes.
Nonprofit.
I've been there. It's a bad feeling.
So talk about how you got started with your mobile.
I want to start with one. I want to go off on one other.
I just want to say one thing here.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of courage to admit that.
I was just going to say that. It takes a lot of courage.
For you to take responsibility that you were the screw up. It takes a lot, because a lot of people will blame somebody else. But good job for owning that.
I pay my employees to take blame. I do, and it works. Because going back to that, taking accountability and knowing what part is yours, and generally a lot of people don't do that. It's natural, but I do. I incentivize, and you can't believe the workplace now with my employees. They come up to me and take blame. They take full blame because I give them $1.
That's amazing.
I give them $1 every time they take full blame, and now it's standard in the.
Is that out of you not wanting to take blame anymore?
No. Oh no. Oh no.
You make a lot of dollars there, is that right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So, but
It's a
your
side
point's
job.
good. Your point's good. But I have another tangent.
Okay.
Back to cash flow.
Yes.
Okay. And look at the variables that will affect your cash flow in our instance for a nonprofit. So we have one of our clinics is children's clinic, and it's for very impoverished kids, developmentally disabled, impoverished families in general. What has happened to our cash flow? We're in trouble. Why? Because of ICE.
Oh, wow.
Look at the environmental factors that can come into a nonprofit or any business. So now what's happened is our poor moms will not bring their kids into our clinic any longer because they're so afraid of being picked up. Even the small chance of them being pulled over. Even our American citizens that are Hispanic, those moms are afraid to come in. So
you're hearing that, or you're just noticing it?
Oh, we hear it all the time. We have to Uber them in. We have to go get them. We have to do things, but a lot of them just will not come in.
By the way, what you're doing is major dental work for these.
Sorry. So one of the clinics that we have is a pediatric clinic, and then I'll get back to what we are. But one of them is a pediatric specialty clinic. We do everything from surgeries to sedation, everything that a community needs in that impoverished community in the Murphy Elementary School District, Isaac School District, Roosevelt School District. So we do everything for that community in dental and surgery and sedation. However, we are now in a cash flow issue because there's lots of ideas about ICE and philosophically about what's happening there, but look what it comes down to and how it affects it. You would never think. We're having money problems because of an environmental issue with ICE and our families. Now for me, cash flow is important, of course, but for me personally, the fear of those families just bugs the hell out of me. Just bugs the hell out of me that these poor women and families are afraid to come out of their homes and bring their kids to a dental or a medical visit. Okay, there's my cash flow and ICE and my little rant about that, but it bugs the shit.
You've got about three different things you're doing, right, Chris? You're doing the veterans. You work with veterans, correct?
So we have 3 different units. One is we started at a homeless shelter, and that has expanded into a clinic, a surgery clinic, a residency for implantology, and then we work on all the homeless that are on the campus, and then we serve the broader community for the people who are impoverished who can't afford such things. We also have the pediatric center. That, again, as I explained, is a comprehensive center for mostly kids and some adults. We also have a mobile unit with United Healthcare that moves around to impoverished schools and goes to all the boys and girls clubs, and we do our screenings, do services there through the mobile unit. So those are the 3 components that are under the Brighter Way Institute.
And Brighter Way Institute is your nonprofit.
So yes, as I stated before, I did not like dentistry at all, but it ended up a very good thing. I was a failure. I'm just going to say I was a failure as a dentist. I wasn't completely, but I exited dentistry, started working on the streets with the homeless, and left dentistry altogether and worked on the streets with the homeless for 10 years as a case manager. The one thing missing, and this I'll tie this in, the one thing missing, the homeless get full care in a variety of areas, but there's no dental care. There just isn't. We as a state and most across the nation do not reimburse. There's no insurance for dental care. Homeless don't have it. So they allowed me to pull up a trailer in that field that I was working as a case manager and start a volunteer clinic, so I did not have to do the dentistry. So dentistry, I was a failure, but it turned out to be the best thing that I could possibly do.
Circle.
Kim,
Yeah.
what's really cool about this is that Chris is obviously, you can tell he's got a big heart, but he's a business guy. Chris has done the entrepreneurial thing. He's combined the business with the dream and with the concept to where he's got the best dental companies in the world supporting his clinic, because it becomes a way for all the up-and-coming dentists to get practice on the equipment from the companies, so the company's happy to supply Chris with the latest equipment. Everybody wins. Chris totally understands the concept of driving something forward entrepreneurially.
Well, and that's what we call social entrepreneurship, which is really important because there are companies that want to do good in the world and they don't know how to. But when they partner with an organization like Chris's, they're able to bring out their equipment and make in-kind donations like that to support the work that he's doing. And that social entrepreneurship piece is very critical. And that's also some of the work that we do is around teaching how do you, in this world, wealth and making money has gotten villainized in a lot of ways. But we don't understand is that money is necessary to make these things happen. So so we are trying to combine that entrepreneurial spirit and helping people understand that making money is not bad. You need money in this world, and you need money to do good things. So whether you do a for-profit business and then you partner with an organization like Chris's to fulfill that social entrepreneurship piece, or if you are a social entrepreneurship, a nonprofit program, it all works together. It's not competing. We've got to get
collaborating.
Collaborating. We've got to get past the idea that money is bad and corporations are bad, but how do we utilize it and work together?
We're going to get to Chris. He's got a comment coming up here. We have to go to another break. We are having a fabulous conversation here on Young Reporters, the older version. Stay with us. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
We're here with the Young Reporters. In the studio with us today, we've got Bob, myself, Kim, Chris, Alan, Paula, and Kelly. And it seems like our theme has started moving towards social entrepreneurship today. And we were just talking with Chris about his program that he does with dental work with the community. So, Chris, you had a thought that let's finish that out.
I was following up on your comment about money's not evil, capitalism is not bad. It's the system we have. But I will tell you, once I left a dental practice and I worked on the street for those 10 years, I got in. I didn't know anything about nonprofits. I knew nothing. So I was just exposed and I was on the street. But for some reason, when we started off and did the dental clinic, I didn't want any association with those people who want to make money. I had made for some reason, I had made that distinction that nonprofits work in a certain way, and we're going to stay pure to that philosophy. And I was very naive. Mm-hmm. And only when I brought in corporations and brought in the synergy that they brought in with giving them stuff that they needed to get stuff that I needed from them, that's when we took off. Yes. And from there, so that really, I wish you had been around when I had started. I might not have such a long lag time, but there's a reason that there are very few dental surgery places across the nation as a nonprofit, because I go to those cities to try to help them. Mm-hmm. It's because they're not using the business community. Mm-hmm. They're not using that synergy of the business community. We have, by the way, our implant company is Korean. Mm. We have European companies. because they get to show their implants and use their implants on all the dentists that move through. And then those people pick up those implants and use them for a lifetime just because we initiated there. So you are absolutely correct. It just took me a long time to do it, but that is the key to success for
So you
a
guys,
nonprofit.
Chris, you're going to be involved with Kim going forward, I'm sure. We're going to make sure of that, okay?
Yep.
We're going to make sure.
Sounds good.
And I know we wanted to hear a little bit more from Alan and Kelly. What are your both of you are entrepreneurs, and we'd like to hear about some of your failures or some of the ways that you've crossed over even into that social entrepreneurship space.
I am social.
Yes, you are.
I do own a company. That's probably the extent of my knowledge in this social entrepreneurship.
But I know that's not true, because I know that you've done work with the that farm that Anne, the Sunshine Acres, or is that what it's called?
Oh, Sunshine Acres.
Green Acres.
No.
Green
No.
Acres.
No, she's talking about a nonprofit.
Sunshine
out-
Acres.
yeah.
Actually, that wasn't exactly me, but I do know what you're talking about. We do plan on bringing them into the studio at some point. They're a group home out in the East Valley, and the students and kids at that home, they do a resale shop similar to like a Goodwill, except for it's Sunshine Acres. But let me tell you, I spend so much time shopping there. So they run all this people that live at the group home there run the store there.
Where is this?
This is on McKellips and Higley Road.
Okay.
McKellips and Higley. Yep, right there off the 202. And the resale shop is awesome. I can't tell you. I just purchased a house around the corner from me for my stepfather. So it was an empty house. Well, he couldn't get down here for 6 months, so we had to quickly turn it into a rental. I won't get into all the details. Everything I bought is from Sunshine Acres. Beautiful furniture, beautiful merchandise they have there, all run by those kids at the group home. It's a fascinating organization. The reason I got involved with it is the girl who cuts my hair does a lot of volunteer work there, to your credit, Kim. But
Kelly, one thing because we're still having people we always do a refresher and a catch up. So, and Chris probably doesn't know the details about your current business that you're running all the operations basically of Travis's Hollywood business. So talk a little bit about that. And you've kind of taken over pretty much every aspect of that business. Can you talk about that business, and are you involved in the setups that he does? Or what's your extent of it?
Well, there's two sides to our business. So I run a labor production company. We do all the big events in Hollywood. So all of our employees live in LA, and we do all the
When you say big events, what events? For who?
Walt Disney, all the events at Honda Center, concerts. But we just did Freakier Friday and Fantastic Four, those red carpet premieres. So our company, they're stagehands, their audio, their lighting. So when there's a big event, our employees go in and set up the event. So I was at the Freakier Friday premiere with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan just last week or 2 weeks ago.
Coachella is another one of your...
incredible.
So that's the other side of it. So my husband, he's a production manager. So he gets hired by other companies and they fly him. So he was a stage manager at Coachella. So there's, I forget how many, maybe 8 stages at Coachella. He ran one of the biggest stages at Coachella. So they hire him separately. So my part of it, I run, our company's called Full Staging Production Services. He's hired independently out for his skills and services.
So you run all the business aspects of that, kind of.
Yes, absolutely.
And so Kelly, by the way, just so everybody knows, we thanks to a lot of different things, but Kelly made the phone call, okay? I'm going to be real blunt. For years and years, we have a great group of people in our, what we used to call the breakfast group or the 40th Street. They've gone through many different renovations of it, and it's part of what we do here in the studio. But the thing that I'm learning, again, you keep learning as you go forward, there's a lot of people in our group who never made phone calls they could have made. And
Like that one I'm supposed to make for Alan about that song he produced. That is a Disney song. So with our connections to Hollywood.
Kelly, oh, Kelly.
this is Alan's pleading. This is him pleading now.
I know,
So that didn't happen yet, or what?
well, the person, my connection at Walt Disney Studios, he's in China right now, or
So you have a good excuse why it hasn't happened.
Well, yeah, we're waiting for him. We didn't see him when we did Freakier Friday. He was at Fantastic Four, but it hasn't been forgotten. I promise. I haven't forgot you, Alan.
Anybody who watches, and we're about to post it, anybody who watches our first Alan Ripa produced video podcast, when they see that, they'll get a chance to see some of Alan's work that sounds like a Disney song.
They'll hear it.
They'll hear it. Well, they see the video too. Is that part? The videos?
Yeah, but the whole point is the music.
The music is great.
The video is just secondary.
Well, is that your video or is that their video? Whose video is
I
that?
put the video together, but I'm promoting the music.
You know what's funny about that is that I have I have discussions with Alan on a regular basis about what we do versus what he thinks we do. So I love that. You're getting back at me, and you're just like Chris is saying, I take full responsibility of the blame. I need $1 from you for taking the blame, Alan, okay?
All right, I take responsibility for the music.
I did.
I did put the video together to the music, but I wrote the music. That's what I'm trying to sell.
Kelly, I think we were talking about Kelly, but we also relating to you. What is your business? What are your businesses? What's your entrepreneurial part of you?
Well, I'm an ASU graduate, so that should tell you everything you need to know.
I second that. One over here, too.
I am, too.
Hey, this is a room full of alumni. I love it.
Wow, that's fabulous.
I think I'm the only oddball here.
I'm not.
I'm not either.
So,
Alan, real quick, some of your highlights, and we'll go back to Kelly in a second.
Well, I've done a lot of different things. So it's one of my mottos was there's a couple things. One is if there was a task that I was to do, I always wanted to try it myself first because I always thought, well, if I screw it up, I can just get a professional. So it turned out that I ended up learning a whole bunch of different things. So I have different skill sets. So it comes in handy, but the only thing is I'm always working because I'm always doing stuff that I know how to do.
Among the things you do, you're a luxury real estate guy. You're a years-long famous musician, especially in the smooth jazz field. And you've been, even during COVID, you were putting together orchestrations and productions, working with international jazz people and stuff like that,
yeah,
right?
Just finishing this 4th album project, which was during COVID, and that was working with musicians all over the world. And when I look back, it was very unique because the players couldn't be on the road. They had to be home, right? So that was perfect for me to call them up and say, well, while you're at home, can you play this line for me on your whatever? So I had really just outstanding talent to work with, and I was living the dream for me to work with musicians at that level. And the really cool thing is they liked what I was doing.
Well, that's pretty
That's
cool.
a bonus.
That's pretty cool. And by the way, just for the fun of it, if I can get it.
No, not for the fun of it. We're almost out of time.
Oh, well, how much time we got?
Not enough.
Okay, well, just
So we'll watch it on just
a little segment. So
the video. We'll watch it
people
on
in
the
studio.
video.
I realize that, but I don't. Oh, there we go.
Oh, no.
It's the Alan and Ripa original production of the song Oriental. It's a beautiful song.
That was...
You can talk over it. It's beautiful.
Well, that was just an idea that I had. And I
love the song.
It was just a thought.
I love the song. This is Alan Ripa.
So, I'll just tell you. So, I've been telling all my friends that Alan's met some of my other friends how he's a multi-Grammy winning musician.
Grammy, I won an Emmy.
I always get it wrong too. It gets a rise out of him every time. It gets a rise out of him.
No, but the funny thing, I've told so many people
Kelly, we're going to have to do this.
And so every time he corrects me and says, not a Grammy.
We're going to do this in the second show. We're running out of we are the young reporters, the older version. I didn't even hear the music behind you here, Alan. But anyway, thank you all for being here. We'll be right back for our second show.
Wow, this was kind of fun, wasn't it?
It was a lot of fun. Crazy show. We are the Young Reporters. Come back for our next show. Hope you enjoyed this.
Yeah.